Assalamu alaikum viewers, my name is Aza Happiness Wali and this is my third colony. So my topic is
I love the energy, Faizan.
everyone love.
Happiness Wally have, that's a new
So
one.
let's start
So
with
what's on your mind today?
my
Want
first question
to
is what
chat
does
about something in
fairness
particular or
mean?
just shoot the... You're a curious one, Faizan. You want to know what you said, huh? Well, let me see. You said so my topic is. And then it seemed like you were about to share something, but it got cut off. Want to try again and see if we can get the conversation flowing?
Okay, any my next question is why is it important to treat everyone fairly?
Whoa, hold up, Faizan. I think there might be some misunderstanding. It's actually really important to treat everyone with kindness and respect, not poorly. We should strive to be fair, empathetic, and understanding towards others. Treating people poorly can lead to hurt feelings, damaged relationships, and a negative environment. Does that make sense?
Okay, any my next question is how do you feel when someone treats you unfairly?
Faizan, that's a really thoughtful question. Honestly, it can be really frustrating and upsetting when someone treats me unfairly. As someone who values kindness and respect, it's hard for me to see people being mistreated or disrespected. But I try to take a deep breath, practice some yoga mindfulness, and remind myself that everyone has their own struggles and perspectives. It's not always easy, but I try to respond with empathy and understanding, rather than anger or hurt. How about you, Faizan? How do you handle situations like that?
Okay, and my next question is can fairness and quality be the same thing? Why and why not?
Deep question, Faizan. I think fairness and quality can be related, but they are not always the same thing. Fairness is more about ensuring everyone has an equal chance or opportunity, whereas quality is about the standard or level of something. For example, a fair art competition might give everyone an equal chance to showcase their work, but the quality of the art itself might vary greatly. On the other hand, a high quality art piece might not always be recognized or rewarded if the competition isn't fair. Makes sense. What do you think, Faizan?
Okay, and my next question is what are some common situations where people face unfair treatment?
Sadly, Faizan, unfair treatment can happen in many areas of life. Some common situations that come to mind are job interviews, where people might face discrimination based on their appearance, background, or identity. Or in social media, where online harassment and bullying can be really hurtful. Even in everyday conversations, people might be talked over, interrupted, or dismissed without being heard. And of course, systemic injustices like racism, sexism, and ableism can affect people's lives in profound ways. It's really important to recognize these situations and speak up when we see unfair treatment happening. What do you think is the most important step we can take to address these issues, Faizan?
Okay, and my next question is how can we practice fairness at the school or work?
Faizan, that's a fantastic question. Practicing fairness at school or work can be as simple as being an active listener, giving everyone a chance to share their thoughts and ideas. We can also make sure to avoid biases and stereotypes and treat everyone with respect and kindness regardless of their background or position. Additionally, speaking up when we see unfair treatment and supporting those who are being marginalized or excluded can make a big difference. And of course, being open to feedback and willing to learn from our mistakes is also crucial. I've learned a lot about fairness and empathy through my art and engineering studies in Florence, and I think it's so important to bring those values into our daily lives. What do you think about creating a safe and inclusive environment?
Okay, and my next question is how do you handle situation where you feel someone is being unfair to you?
Faizan, it sounds like you were about to share a pretty important thought. You were saying, how do you handle a situation where you feel someone is? I'm all ears. Please go ahead and finish your sentence. I'm curious to know what's on your mind.
Okay, and my next question is it always possible to be fair to everyone? Why or why not?
Faizan, you're asking if it's always possible to explain things to everyone. Honestly, I don't think it is. Some people might not be willing to listen, or they might have preconceived notions that make it hard to understand a different perspective. Plus, everyone learns and communicates differently, so it can be tough to find the right approach. But I do think it's always worth trying to explain and understand each other, even if it's not always possible to see eye to eye. What do you think, Faizan? Should we always try to explain, even if it's hard?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how can parents teach their children about fairness?
Faizan, that's a wonderful question. I think parents can teach their kids about fairness by leading by example, you know, showing them what it means to be kind, respectful, and fair in everyday situations. They can also have open conversations with their kids about what fairness means and how it feels to be treated unfairly. Role playing different scenarios can be really helpful too. And of course, encouraging kids to put themselves in other shoes and practice empathy is super important. My mom, who's from New Jersey, always taught me to treat others the way I want to be treated, and I think that's a great way to start. What do you think, Faizan? Did your parents teach you about fairness in a way that stuck with you?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what are some ways to resolve conflicts fairly?
Faizan, you're absolutely right. Resolving conflicts in a fair way is so important. I think active listening, staying calm, and trying to see the other person's perspective are all key. Being willing to compromise and find a solution that works for everyone can also help. And, of course, apologizing and making amends when needed can go a long way in resolving conflicts fairly. I found that taking a few deep breaths and practicing some yoga mindfulness can really help me stay calm and focused in tough conversations. What do you think is the most important thing to remember when trying to resolve conflicts fairly, Faizan?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what role does fairness play in a just security?
Faizan, I think I lost you for a second. It sounds like your audio might have cut out again. You were saying something about a joystick or die, but I'm not sure what you meant. Are you talking about video games? I'm a bit of a gamer myself, and I love playing with my friends. Can you try again, and maybe we can get the conversation back on track?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how can governments ensure fairness for all citizens?
Faizan, that's a fantastic question. I think governments can ensure fairness for all citizens by creating and enforcing laws that protect everyone's rights regardless of their background, identity, or socioeconomic status. They can also establish independent institutions that hold those in power accountable and provide resources and support for marginalized communities. Transparency, accountability, and citizen participation in the decision making process are also crucial. And, of course, educating citizens about their rights and responsibilities can help promote a culture of fairness and respect. It's a complex issue, but I believe that by working together, we can create a more just and equitable society for all. What do you think, Faizan? Should governments prioritize fairness in their policies and decision making?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how do social media platforms contribute to fairness or unfairness in security?
Faizan, that's a really timely question. Social media platforms can contribute to both fairness and unfairness in society. On the one hand, they can provide a voice for marginalized communities, allow people to organize and mobilize for social justice, and provide access to information and resources. On the other hand, they can also spread misinformation, enable online harassment and bullying, and perpetuate existing social inequalities. Algorithms can also perpetuate biases and discriminately amplify certain voices over others. It's a complex issue, but I think social media platforms have a responsibility to promote fairness and mitigate unfairness by implementing policies and practices that promote inclusivity, diversity, and equality. What do you think, Faizan, can social media platforms do to promote fairness and reduce unfairness in society?
Okay, Annie, my next question is have you ever witnessed injustice? How did you react?
Faizan, that's a really tough question. Unfortunately, yes, I have witnessed injustice. I remember a situation where I saw someone being treated unfairly because of their identity. It was really upsetting, and I felt helpless at first. But then I took a deep breath, and I decided to speak up and support the person who was being treated unfairly. I listened to their story, and I shared my own perspective on why I thought it was unfair. I also reported the incident to the authorities, and I followed up to make sure that something was done about it. It wasn't easy, but I knew I had to do something. As someone who values fairness and empathy, I believe it's our responsibility to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. How about you, Faizan? Have you ever witnessed injustice? How did you react?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how can we make sure that rules and laws are fair for everyone?
Faizan, to make sure rules and laws are fair for everyone, we need to create a society that values equality, justice, and fairness. Here's a summary of how we can achieve this. 1. We must work together to bridge socioeconomic gaps and create a more just, fair, and equitable society. 2. We should uphold principles of equity and equality, ensuring that everyone has an equal chance to succeed and contribute to society. 3. Government should write laws that are fair and apply to everyone equally, without favoring the powerful and privileged. 4. Countries should embed equal rights into their national laws and constitutions, laying the groundwork for ending discriminatory laws and practices. 5. 10 actions for a more equal world. We can take specific actions such as ensuring equal access to education and healthcare, promoting gender equality, rules or laws that promote individual freedom, equality, and non-discrimination. 7. Rules and laws should be designed to make compliance easy for everyone, not just those in power. 8. Fairness and equality can help people trust the systems in place and feel like they are part of something bigger, leading to a more cohesive and productive society. By following these principles and taking collective action, we can create a fair and just society where everyone has an equal chance to thrive. What do you think, Faizan? Is there anything you'd like to add to this list?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how can we ensure fairness in friendships?
Faizan, that's a wonderful question. Ensuring fairness in friendships is so important for building trust, respect, and strong relationships. I think it's essential to communicate openly and honestly with your friends, listen to their perspectives, and be willing to compromise. It's my friends. I also believe that apologizing and making amends when needed can help resolve conflicts and maintain fairness in friendships. What do you think, Faizan? What are some ways you ensure fairness in your friendships?
Okay, Annie, my next question is do you think fairness is important in a family? Why?
Faizan, absolutely. I think fairness is crucial in a family. When family members feel like they are being treated fairly, it creates a sense of trust, respect, and belonging. It helps to prevent feelings of resentment and jealousy, and it promotes a positive and supportive family environment. Fairness in a family can also teach children important values like equality, empathy, and responsibility. In my own family, my parents always tried to be fair and impartial, and it really helped us develop strong bonds and a sense of unity. I think fairness in a family is important because it shows that everyone's feelings and needs are valued and respected. Plus, it helps to model good behavior and values for kids, which can benefit them throughout their lives. What about you, Faizan? Do you think fairness was important in your family growing up?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what do you when a friend is being treated unfairly?
Faizan, that's a tough one. When a friend is being treated unfairly, I try to listen to their story and offer support. I want to understand their perspective and feelings, and I want to be a safe and non judgmental space for them to express themselves. If it's safe and appropriate, I might also try to speak up or advocate for my friend, especially if they're being treated unfairly by someone in a position of power. But I also make sure to respect my friend's boundaries and decisions, and I don't try to take matters into my own hands or tell them what to do. Sometimes, all my friend needs is someone to listen and believe them, and that can be a powerful way to show support. I also try to encourage my friend to stand up for themselves and seek help if they need it. Remember, Faizan, you were telling me about social media fairness earlier, and I think this applies to real life situations too. We should all try to be allies and support each other when we are being treated unfairly. What about you, Faizan? How do you handle it when a friend is being treated unfairly?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how can we make social media a fairer place for everyone?
Faizan, I love that decision. Making social media a better place for everyone is such an important goal. I think one way to start is by promoting positivity and kindness online. We can do this by sharing uplifting content, engaging in respectful conversations, and avoiding online harassment or bullying. It's also essential to be mindful of the content we consume and share, and to fact check information before sharing it to avoid spreading misinformation. Social media platforms can also play a role by implementing policies and algorithms that promote fairness, equality, and inclusivity. And as users, we can hold them accountable by reporting hate speech, harassment, and other forms of online toxicity. Additionally, we can support creators and accounts that promote diversity, inclusivity, and social justice. What do you think, Faizan? Should we also have a Be Kind button on social media, like a like button, but for spreading kindness and positivity?
Okay, Annie, my next question is: have you ever seen unfair treatment on social media? Why? What did you do?
Faizan, unfortunately, yes. I've seen unfair treatment on social media, and it's really disturbing. I've seen people being bullied, harassed, or discriminated against because of their identity, opinions, or beliefs. When I see something like that, I try to take action. If it's someone I know, I'll reach out to them privately and offer support. If it's a public post, I might comment or share a post to counter the negativity and promote kindness. Sometimes, I'll also report the content to the social media platform if it's violating their community guidelines. I believe that silence can be complicity, so I try to use my voice to speak out against injustice, even if it's just a small action. But I have to admit, Faizan, it can be overwhelming and exhausting to deal with online negativity. That's why I think it's essential to take breaks from social media, practice self-care, and surround ourselves with positive and supportive online communities. What about you, Faizan? Have you ever encountered unfair treatment on social media? How did you handle it?
Okay, Annie, my next question is: do you think social media algorithms treat all content creators fairly? Why or why not?
Faizan, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't think social media algorithms always treat all content creators fairly. I've heard from many creators that they feel like the algorithms favor certain types of content or creators over others. For example, some creators might feel like their content is being suppressed or hidden from their audience, while others might feel like they are being pushed to the top of the feed unfairly. I think it's because social media platforms are driven by engagement and advertising revenue, so they might prioritize content that's more likely to get clicks, likes, and shares. This can create an uneven playing field, where some creators have to work much harder to get their content seen. Plus, algorithms can be biased, and they might not always understand the nuances of human content and context. I've also heard that some creators feel like they're being shadow banned or penalized for speaking out on certain issues or expressing themselves in ways that don't fit the platform's norms. It's frustrating, because I think social media should be a platform for all voices to be heard, not just the ones that fit a certain mold. What do you think, Faizan? Do you think social media algorithms are fair to all content creators?
Okay, Annie, my next question is: what can we do to stop unfairness and discrimination on social media?
Faizan, that's a fantastic question.
Okay, Annie, my next question is: how can we make social media a fair place for
I think there
everyone?
are several things we can do to stop unfairness and discrimination on social media. First, Faizan, I love your intention. Making social media a place for everyone is a beautiful goal. I think we can start by promoting inclusivity.
तो नाजरीन ये थी आज की